Here's the gist of My Friend Pedro.
Dramatic entrance kill. Oh, I didn't even have anything to do with that barrel. That just happened on its own right. God willing. I see. What does this do? Oh, cute. Nice.
Payday? Fucking goddamn it. I can't even escape it here.
Ugh. Frying pan. Ugh. Hang on, got a better idea. Get up there. Yes! We did it! Yes! Yes, we did it! Oh, that's so stupid. I love it. I don't know why video games decided mutually that frying pans would be the funniest shit, but you know what? They got it right. They got that one right. That's the only thing video games ever got right.
This is a 2.5D side-scrolling shooter developed by Dead Toast Entertainment and published by Devolver Digital. It's a single-player title that released in late June 2019 for Steam and Nintendo Switch. Based on a Flash game of the same name from 2014, My Friend Pedro stars a silent, unnamed amnesiac being escorted by a floating, talking banana named Pedro. The Flash game inspiration is clear from the get-go. The aesthetics, however, are rather more appealing. Sure, the game is a bit cheap looking in places, but the art style itself feels very Matrix or John Woo-esque. Gritty, washed down environments peppered with bright splatters of blood. The gameplay, however, feels like an elevated version of those browser-based games you play during study period in middle school. You walk back and forth, jump, and wall jump with WASD. Crouching lets you roll around in a sort of morph ball sense, although this can be a bit finicky at times. And most importantly, firearms can be aimed with the mouse regardless of what direction you're facing and fired at will. And when armed with two weapons, such as dual pistols and SMGs, they can be pointed in independent directions by holding down Alt-Fire, which will keep one of your guns locked in the position you've aimed it. Your pistols have infinite ammo, though rather mini clips, but as the game progresses, you'll kill enemies with more powerful guns like assault rifles and shotguns and pick them up for yourself. However, these guns do have finite ammo pools, so killing more mooks will grant more supplies. Each map is jam-packed with enemies who are primed and ready the second you walk into their field of view, and the layout of the levels often has enemies shooting at you from multiple directions, not just right in front of you. So walking in a straight line holding down left click isn't a valid option, as you'll die from merely a handful of shots. Your health is segmented into 3 bars, and on lower difficulties will regenerate up to the cap of each bar. Healing beyond that will acquire health kits, which can also be dropped by foes. Your goal is to make it to the end of every level, although the maps often jarringly stop more than naturally conclude. Another lovely holdover from the X generation of gaming. In theory, you could bypass most bad guys by simply running past them, shooting only enemies whose deaths unlock new grounds to cover. This is all possible by dodging with the up button, which makes you twirl around and immune to bullets. However, not only is there a cooldown between dodges, but your aim is severely thrown off throughout, as you spin or twirl and your guns are pointing in directions different from your cursor. You can still very well earn kills while dodging, but sans precision. And besides, My Friend Pedro is very much a score and combo based game, with both being displayed at the bottom of the screen. Dealing damage will stop your combo from draining, and kills will continue it. As such, it's better to kill everyone in sight for the best score. Headshots will swiftly eliminate targets, but body shots can be a bit...
Wow. Really? Really? Jesus. They have a fuck ton of health. Come on, hit him. Really? Please die. Please die. Please die. There we go. Jesus. Okay, I guess 5 shotgun shots isn't enough. It's the 6th one you need. The 6th one will really do him in.
You may have noticed the game slowing down at points there. Rest assured, those aren't performance problems, although the game apparently has its fair share of those. Rather, a slow motion mechanic allowing you to Matrix-style dodge and destroy. As with the combo system, dishing out damage and death refills the meter, allowing you to reap the benefits of slow perception of time for, effectively, as long as enemies are present. The effects of dodging are made ever stronger during slow motion and allow you to place your shots more carefully as you spin. Or if you're like me, you you can just spam fire until everyone's dead. That tends to work. A cute mechanic used throughout the game is bullet ricocheting. Whether by metal plates or frying pans that can be kicked into the air with a melee attack, bullets can often be bounced off surfaces to more stylishly or even effectively reach their intended target. Speaking of melee, props such as basketballs and leftovers from previous victims can be kicked into targets to stun, damage, and even kill them. And items like gas cans can be kicked into position and then shot to blast your foes to bits. Or you can simply cut out the middleman and kick people directly. While many levels are clearly designed with specific ways to eliminate targets in mind, at the end of the day, it's up to you for where, when, and how you get your high score. Although the scoring system seems a bit inconsistent. You get bonus points for killing every enemy, even those that spawn from doorways in areas you've long since left, by the way, but no matter how well you do, on lower difficulties it's near impossible to get an S rank, as you get a score bonus based on which difficulty you're playing on. In a game all about points, it feels actively punishing to play on the normal difficulty. Still, the actual adrenaline rush of shooting, kicking, and exploding your way through the opposition may well be satisfying enough. The actual gameplay of Pedro doesn't get much more complex than that. Depth is instead introduced through level mechanics such as levers that can be shot to activate from a distance, skateboards that can be kick-flipped into tracheas, and later on platforms and environmental hazards with unique effects like shockwaves. Some of these make for unique puzzle action levels where the bulk of challenge is overcoming obstacles from the environment rather than the populace. Other times, however, the puzzles can feel more like filler than fun. The first two sets of levels, worlds basically, strike an excellent balance of combat, puzzle solving, and even storytelling. However, after being deposited in a river, the third world has you going for a bit of an adult swim, and in my eyes takes a serious full dive in quality.
What? This is where you can tell it's a Flash game. That starts to become very clear. Ah, shit. Boy, howdy. Okay. This is what we're doing now, is it? That's cute. Oh, boy. This is comedy. Aren't we not, like, drowning at the bottom of a lake? Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what's happening, but whatever. Listen. Did you not see the funny man with the big eyes in the background? Because that's what this game's all about. That's the true meaning of Christmas right there. Wait, is this gonna be the game for a while?
And from this point on, things never quite recovered for me. The narrative completely loses itself as it unfolds, trapped in a limbo between comedic action parody and genuine commentary. The final two areas are a painfully lengthy sewer level full of armor gamers who grew too violent from video games or whatever, and an infiltration of the internet, which is just another generic-looking construction site full of bullet-spongy guards and finicky laser puzzles, punctuated with excellent Flash game humor from the mid to late 2000s.
So this is the internet, huh? I was expecting something a bit more high-tech.
It's pretty much a series of tubes, to be honest. Boy, howdy. Oh, God, remember that joke? Ooh, jokes. From 2006, I believe.
Never mind, let's pay Ophelia a visit and settle this once and for all.
I'm a talking banana. How random, am I right, gamers? Anyways, murder millions.
My biggest problems throughout the game tended to be a lot of small issues piling on top of each other. On their own, getting stuck on barrels I'm trying to jump off of, not being able to uncrouch for no apparent reason, my dodge randomly stopping halfway through its animation, and being swarmed by mindless AI doesn't bother me that much. But it's an overwhelmingly uncomfortable experience if and when all of those problems congregate. And many of these gripes come to a head in the game's finale. I won't spoil the ending, particularly because it's not much of an investment if you wish to see it for yourself. My friend Pedro took me a tight 4 hours to complete, and I mean complete. Aside from trying to S-rank every level, there is no bonus content beyond the 5-world campaign. No level editor, nothing. Granted, at $20, $16 if you bought it near release like me, I'm not complaining too much, especially considering the bulk of the game was created by one man, Victor Agron, a sole developer who seems to genuinely care about the project and wants to take steps to address performance problems and crashes. Seeing as the dev isn't asking much for his hard work, many of my problems become a bit easier to overlook. At the end of the day, whether or not you'll like my friend Pedro comes down to what you're looking for in a non-standard shooter. If you're a fan of other Devolver published titles such as Hotline Miami, you'll likely enjoy the gameplay of Pedro if nothing else. Although it lacks the level editor and additional content that really make up these kind of addicting games, the storyline can't even begin to compare in quality, and the humor is very much an acquired taste. If you find Castle Crashers funny, you'll probably get a laugh from Pedro as well. However, the price may still be a bit hard to justify if purely based on a cost-to-content basis. But if you're not too concerned with dropping $20 on a few hours of a banana bonanza, or you can get the game at half price, you may wish to get acquainted with Pedro. And if you're interested in seeing my full playthrough, I streamed it all over on my Twitch page. A link to the VOD is below. Either way, thanks for watching, and take it easy.